Well, I'm always excited for our organization, excited for the players. I am appreciative of their work and their efforts. Everybody's stepping up. We're using everybody. Everybody's making plays. Everybody's helping us win. I'm excited for these guys, but they're also they're not satisfied, and I can tell that. And it wasn't pretty. Defense kept us in there, and then when we needed it, our offense was able to come through late in the game there. In the second half with a touchdown, give us a 2-score lead. And then I felt like that drive backed up there from the 3-yard line where we ran the ball and took a lot of clock was pretty classy.
Dan Roach from the back.
Mike, your defense has allowed 19 points. Well, if you look at it in 2 games, what have they done well in your mind?
They're playing well together. I feel like they're complementing each other, and our turnovers are created by more than one guy. There's some great efforts, but it's somebody tipping a pass, or it's somebody that's putting pressure. That's usually helping that dude, or Zach's, dialing something up that kind of changes the look, and we're taking advantage of, our opportunities, and that's what it's going to take in the playoffs. Is you got to take care of the ball and turn it over.
Coach, congratulations on the win. How would you define the resiliency of your football team?
I think, again, there's times where it doesn't look great, and we know going against a great defense, which, that's what they are. It's hard. There's some tough sledding, and there's some plays that don't look great. It's a fast, talented defense, and we talked about that coming in. But in the end, it felt like, we just kind of stuck around, and we always talk about it only takes one play. And early on, that might have been Pop and Marcus. KC caused that touchdown that Marcus took back, or Kayshawn in the second half, and Drake giving him a ball. So it just takes one play, and I think that sparks us.
Over here. You mentioned the offense there in the fourth quarter, and we've talked to you about Drake all season, but maybe not the best first 3 quarters. Just talk a little bit about what he was able to do and kind of stay resilient in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, we talk about not going in the blender, and I think it's hard. They put pressure on us, and we know we got to take care of the ball. Drake knows that. But to be able to stay the course and to trust Kayshawn and give him a great ball that, it was him or nobody. And those guys have kind of done that all year. When we needed to play, they've been able to do that for us.
You said at the beginning, Mike, that the players aren't satisfied, and you can tell that. Can you give me an example of what you saw that indicates that? And also, coach's job is always to tune out the noise. There's going to be a heck of a lot of noise this week. Are you satisfied that you've got your players to tune out that noise, or is that a work in progress?
Well, it's going to, we know the stadium's going to be loud, so the louder the better. Every opportunity. I think what they've done is we've asked them to embrace the preparation, embrace the strain, and also enjoy every minute of this. Enjoy walking into this stadium. Coming in here, enjoy putting your uniform on, enjoy going out there and warm-ups, enjoy seeing your family, but most especially enjoy, the execution. So we'll keep doing that, and we know we got to go on the road to a number 1 seed in the AFC, and it's not going to be easy, but we'll come out and be ready to go.
On the left. Coach, congratulations on the victory here tonight. You talked about a loud stadium potentially in store for next week. How much do you feel that the home crowd played into the victory tonight in the last home game of the season?
Well, they help. They help tremendously. And again, there was, they ratcheted up there in the fourth quarter, and some of those third down stops that, back by the lighthouse, I felt like that was really ratcheted up. And, when they chose to punt, that was huge for us. And then, they got a great punt, and then, we took the ball. But the harder we play and the more plays that we make, the louder they're going to get. I've said this since we've been here. They're knowledgeable fans. They've seen a lot of good football over the course of 20-some years. So they know what it looks like, and they have high expectations.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Soph.
Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
I'm just curious, what did you see from your defense as it concerned the takeaways tonight and how they were able to just generate so many of them?
Yeah, again, it was a group effort, and we talked about it being a group effort, and whether that's understanding the call, understanding where each guy fits. But, I felt like, especially on Marcus's, we talked about some of these boots, and KC was able to force the quarterback into a mistake, and we tipped some passes. And again, there's some other plays that are close. With the quarterback's arm, I think we kept, changing the look up on a little bit. Give our guys credit, to be able to disguise. We talked about that, and certainly affecting the quarterback is a big part of winning in this league.
Mike, you mentioned at the outset, everybody's stepping up, everyone's making plays. What does it mean to you as a coach to get a full three-phase effort in a playoff win here tonight?
I mean, a lot goes into it. We always give the credit to the players, but I'm extremely lucky for the staff that we have. Their knowledge, their alignment, their loyalty, and the ability that they've given our players to have confidence in their job is something that I really appreciate. So, again, the results will always be for the players, and because of the players. But, I appreciate the staff, and I can't thank them enough. Again, I tell the players all the time, I'm proud to be their coach, but I appreciate the staff as well.
Hey, Coach, you always do such a good job of complimenting your players, but in terms of preparation, you take so much pride in getting them ready. Was there something specific you did in preparation for this game that you reflect on now that worked in this game?
I mean, it wasn't. I thought that we've tried to add situations to the postseason. I think we've tried to, instead of doing it on Saturday, we've tried to maybe add those situations during practice on Wednesdays and Thursdays and Fridays, as opposed to doing them in the walkthrough, just because we know how critical they are. But I don't. Again, we've tried to stay consistent and not make it. We understand how important these games are and how critical each play is, but to not, just change everything we've done. We practice on Thursdays fast, and we put pads on, and they embrace that. And we knew it would be a physical game. We knew it would be a tough game, and again, we just have to keep getting better.
Last question, Doug Kite on far right.
Hey, Mike, congratulations. There's a lot of talk about the Texans' defense this week. Did you feel like your defense took that personally at all?
But yeah, I'm sure they're going to tell you that here in 30 seconds when you guys go rushing out of here. As soon as Nicole leads you guys out of here, you guys will go. And now, again, they're really good for a reason. They've shown it each and every week. But our guys are prideful men, and they want to compete and they want to win. And again, they deserve the recognition that they're going to get. I mean, they're top 5 defense for a reason as well. And so, again, that's how some of these things go. It comes down to turnovers, and we've got them in, get back on track. We force second and long, so we stop the run. And I'm proud of each and every guy in there. Thanks, guys. Have a good.
All right, it's Mike Vrabel after the game. Patriots win it 28-16. They are headed to the conference championship game. 1 win away from the Super Bowl. And I want to get these guys involved in this one because Tom Curran, I want to go way back to, this is probably like week 3. You wrote after the Steelers beat the Patriots turned the ball over 5 times. Tom Curran, he wrote, hey, there's a good team in there. This is a good team, but you got to get all that stupid stuff out of the way so you can realize it. And just the progression from the Patriots since that point. At that point, you want to get to 500. Then you get to 500. Hey, I want to make sure we can compete for the playoffs. I wonder if we can beat Buffalo after you beat Buffalo. I wonder if we can win the AFC East. You win the AFC East. And here we are on the doorstep of the Super Bowl. You don't have, we already knew, no Lamar Jackson, no Patrick Mahomes, no Joe Burrow. Now you got Josh Allen out of the way, and you got Bo Nix out of the way, and Jarrett Stidham. I mean, just like, what do you see in this no satisfied, as Mike Vrabel said, this no satisfied mission?
I have a beagle. His name is Bo. And anybody who's ever had a beagle or a hound, they understand that when beagles are on the track, they can't hear anything. They can't. Literally, their ears shut off, and all they do is they keep their nose on the ground, and they keep moving forward to wherever they're going to go. And Mike's tone here, I'm sure we're going to see the locker room footage later, and he's going to be on top of the moon. But this is like a beagle with the team, is they're just on the scent, and they're not going to look up, and at the end, they might have treed a grizzly or they might get knocked off. But they are on the scent of something, and they didn't expect to be on the scent of whatever they're on, but they're just all the way through the woods to wherever it ends. And that's, I like the way Mike doesn't change. And he said in that answer to, I believe it was Diana Rossini, we're not changing. We're just going to do the things that we do. Some coaches say that while they're all, and you can tell that they're really happy. He's not portraying it. Thank you.
No, sorry. No, it ultimately, isn't that one of the most important jobs of any head coach? And I think it's important, for everyone out there that follows football. You don't have to worry about it this year here in New England, but there's a lot of people that are looking for new head coaches right now across the NFL. And they're going to be looking for offensive geniuses, and they're going to be looking for defensive schemers. And something as simple as that, I think, can be a real challenge. And Ted, you would know better than anybody sitting here how hard it can be to keep a good team focused. This was not even a team that many of us thought was going to be very good coming into the season, but he's been able to every single week keep them on the scent.
Yeah, and I think it's a great kind of way to put it, to Tom, how you did that analogy, because it's true. I don't think this year, did anybody hear one time that they had a See You Wednesday? I think the schedule has been pretty much the same every single week. They show up every Monday. They don't take Mondays off. They show up. They do their workouts. I think there's a lot of levity. I think they have a lot of fun. I think the team meetings I've heard can be pretty loose and pretty loud. So it's easier to kind of keep just your head down and looking at what's the next thing when you enjoy going to work. I mean, when you open that door and you put your code to go in and you open it, you're greeted with smiles. It's positive. They have fun. It's loose. And so you don't mind the grind. You embrace the grind, which is incredible. And so I think a lot of Mike's having a lot of fun. There's a lot of levity. He's keeping consistent. He's not giving them off some Mondays one week and then not the next week. So they're very consistent in what they're doing. And that your biorhythms, your kind of body just kind of gets into this groove, and they keep winning. And don't underestimate that performance in Week 5 against the Buffalo Bills. That led to a 10-game win streak. That, to me, that Drake May was a perfect quarterback rating that second half of that Buffalo Bills game when they went to Buffalo and won. That to me gave them all the confidence they needed, because they were 2-2 at that point, Michael, and I'm not sure they knew exactly what they were yet. That game in Buffalo told them exactly what they were, and they went straight from there.
Well, stay right there, Ted. When you're talking about coming to work, enjoying coming to work, when you put the key card on the thing,
fob,
security thing. All right. What you said is they enjoy it. What's implied there is that you were there, you went to work there for 10 years when it was not fun. And you walked in the front and to the left, where the other guy's office was kind of like Darth Vader was there. Did you think, but you were successful, you had 3 Super Bowl titles. Mm-hmm. Did you think that this style was successful? As a player, somebody said, hey, you can win 3 championships and have fun. Do you think those things are mutually exclusive?
No, I knew you could win this way. There's more than one way to skin a cat. Look, Pete Carroll, we didn't win, but we had good teams. He won in Seattle. Bill Parcells wasn't like, it wasn't a cloudy and rainy every single day with Bill Parcells. We had fun with him. I'm not surprised that today's athlete responds differently. The old way of kind of doing things, the beatings will continue until morale improves type of mentality that old school coaches have, that doesn't work with today's athlete. You got to connect. You got to talk to him. You got to have FaceTime. I mean, you can tell. It feels like when I watch Mike in some of these press conferences, you guys, it feels like he's just exhausted, because the way he gets these guys to buy in, I think he spends a little bit of time with these guys and their coaches and their families as much as he can. And that means so much at this professional level, to have coaches that care about you as a person. It's very difficult to do because it's exhausting. There's a lot of people in the organization. But Mike, I think, exhausts himself